Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Today on CityCast Boise. For our April guide, we're talking farmers market season, a flashy new restaurant with playful cocktails, a sports bar that's sure to become a neighborhood favorite, and a comedy club bringing laughs to the bench. Plus, a paella class that'll have you cooking like a Basque Country pro. It's Tuesday, April 1st. I'm Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. It's monthly guide time once again, and we at CityCast Boise do these monthly guides because our city really still runs on word of mouth. So we put together this guide to help make sure that you are getting the most out of Boise in April. And joining me today are Matthew Melton, a local performer and podcaster, and our executive producer, Frankie Barnhill. Thank you both for being here.
Hey, Lindsay, happy April.
April 1st? Uh-oh. Here we are. No fooling.
It's not a prank. It's not a prank. We're really doing this.
Yep.
So we have 3 categories in our monthly guides. We have a must-do activity. We have food that you've got to try this month, just, quintessential April food. And then we also have something that's free because we're all on a budget. Don't blow your budget in April. There's a lot of year left. So we're going to start with the must-do activity. So Matthew, what are you doing in April that everyone should be checking out?
This just opened a little while ago. This is shout out to my hood, The Bench. We've got the Green Room Boise. It's a new comedy club that opened up Franklin Orchard, kind of close to the Fred Meyer. It's in a funky little spot, like former big strip mall of like doctor's offices and things, but it's coming around. They moved Need to Beat over there. There's a coffee shop, and you've got the Green Room. They do a lot of different comedy, not stand-up comedy so much. It's the home of Comedy Sports Boise, which is basically improv comedy played as a sport. It's 2 teams. There's a referee, lots of kind of sports trappings, very extremely short form games. It's just about every Saturday night. You can catch a really great show there. Now, I am saying this because, I am also doing a show there with my improv team, the U.S. Average, at the end of the month. You should check that out, too. That's more of an adult show, so maybe leave the kiddies at home for that one. But they've got all kinds of stuff happening as early as like April 4th. They've got a cool show coming up, a bunch of different ones. It's not just comedy sports, but that is their home. BoiseComedy.com. Pretty cheap. They've got concessions. Get a soda, get a popcorn, sit yourself down and enjoy some really great improv comedy.
I love it. No, Matthew, the doctors are leaving. They're closing up their doctor's offices at the strip mall, and we're getting a comedy center. No, I love it. Let's really see if laughter is the best medicine.
You beat me to it. I was going to make that joke exactly. But yes, that's all we have now is laughter. There's no actual doctors, so hopefully laughter does the trick.
What a great location, too. It sounds like just that spot, that area needs more stuff to do, right? I mean, you live over there. So what is this like to have this new venue there?
It's really great. Have you ever been to an improv show, either of you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love those. I think they're fantastic.
Yes, and? Uh-huh.
Ha! Indeed. Real ones know. Very good. We'll definitely go. Yeah, all ages for comedy sports. Now is a great time, and not just in April, but anytime. But they did just open. They had the grand opening like a couple of months ago, and they've already had great touring acts come through, their regular shows, lots of local stuff. So worth checking out.
Well, Frankie, what is your must-do activity for April? What are you checking out this month?
I think it is time to dust off the cobwebs and get outside, and also start thinking about getting outside, because April can be a little bit of a tease. It's not as much of a tease as March is, but I think specifically about gardening and kind of preparing to garden. If you don't actually start gardening in April, depending on what you're planting, you should at least be preparing to think about what you want to plant. And one of the best ways to do that, to know what you're doing before you start digging up your soil, before you go and buy a bunch of plants that you've never planted before, would be to go to a community ed class from Boise School District. The community ed classes that Boise School District offers are so great, and especially like the gardening ones, I think are fabulous. I want to shout out friend of the show, Gretchen Anderson, is doing her tomato class again. And that's on April 30th, so the end of the month. And it's just like an hour and a half course, random Wednesday. I'll put a link in the show notes to the exact information. $21 to go learn from a master gardener all about tomatoes. And of course, tomatoes are one of the, best things to grow in the Treasure Valley. They grow so well. Do either of you garden, and do either of you grow tomatoes? Because they can go gangbusters.
I was raised Mormon and forced to garden, so I
forgot. Of course. What am I asking? Yeah.
Like lightly little herbs and like strawberries. That's what I do.
You're retired, kind of. Yeah,
I am. I already had that phase of my life, but I love when other people garden. I think I understand the joy of it. It was just all sucked out of me as a child. So
fair enough.
Not so much, but I think it's a great activity.
Well, yeah, if you want to get your homestead vibes on, because she's going to teach how to plant, grow, harvest, preserve the whole cycle of tomatoes from Gretchen. And I just think it's smart before you, again, go buy, spend a few $100s at a garden center and not really know what you're doing. I think having a plan is smart. This is coming from me, who has definitely done that before when I've gardened in the past. So honestly, these community ed courses, there's other ones. There's like a soil health one. There's a few different ones that if you're a gardener or want to be a gardener and you want to know that you're doing it right, these are really good ways to do it.
What are you growing this year, Frank? Are you going to have a garden? Have you started, got your starts going? What are you doing this year?
I'm not doing starts. It's just a little too high maintenance for me. So I cheat. I do buy my stuff already pre-started. Although I might throw some seeds in for some stuff that's really easy, like maybe peas and beans. But yeah, I mean, I've had some epic tomato gardens in Boise before, and especially like that, like August, September timeframe, where honestly the tomato plants like take over, and you're like, what do I do with all these tomatoes? But of course, there's always something to do with a tomato, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, to your point about tomato takeover, I do not have a green thumb at all, but I have definitely lived places in the Treasure Valley where tomatoes just started growing. Like the person who lived there before I did was growing tomatoes, and they didn't finish the job or whatever. They left seeds in the ground, and I just woke up to tomatoes one day. So I'm not saying it's that easy to grow tomatoes, but to your point about this being a very good spot for it, clearly, because I did not a thing to encourage those little babies to grow, and they did all the same.
Yeah, totally. Another kind of connected thing, community ed classes, like I said, I just am a huge advocate for them. I think that's so cool and such a cheap way to learn a new skill. Kind of connected or related is the Boise Parks and Rec Summer Activity Guide. Just dropped. It's fresh off the presses. It's out there. So anyone can now sign up for any class this summer. And they, of course, it's a lot of like kids camps and stuff. So if you're a parent, definitely, I'm sure you're already aware of this probably, but now is the time to sign your kids up for camps. Lots of adult tennis. I've taken tennis camps and classes from Boise Parks and Rec before. So just a side note, if you want to start planning beyond April and think about the summer, that guide is out there and you can sign up for those courses. And some of them do go kind of quickly. So keep that in mind. Lindsay, what about you? What are you excited about as a April activity?
So mine is adjacent, I feel like, to yours. It's also a class, not a city class though. This is a paella cooking class that the Basque Market is doing. Ooh. And they're doing it on April 15th. That's a Tuesday. Also tax day, I do believe. So, if you're stressed about that, let's finish the day with some paella. And so it's going to be at the Basque Market on Grove Street. And it's $50 a person. And you go and it starts at 6 p.m., but they recommend you go at 5:30 to quote, enjoy some wine, settle in, and get ready to watch the magic happen. And so everybody in the class is going to help make paella. And that's a dish. It's got, rice and vegetables and seafood. It's a very popular, famous dish from Spain and incredibly delicious. But I think it just sounds like a really fun kind of spring activity, a little seafood, a little wine, a little Basque Market, not quite summer, but we're getting there. We're heading that way. And I always love a good cooking class. So I think this is a really fun way to, celebrate the middle of April and heading into summer.
Oh, and ahead of the summer with High Aldi, you'll become a paella expert, Lindsay.
That's right. That's right.
Ahead of the festival,
this is
yeah.
the year. This is the year to know how to make paella.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse April 3rd, only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Okay, speaking of delicious food, Frankie, the second part of this guide is food that you've got to be trying in April, or it just is April vibes in Boise. So, Frankie, what are you eating or checking out in April in Boise?
Yeah. So this one, it's a little bit of a cheat, but it's about the food I will be eating in the future. But you got to sign up for it now, which is signing up for a community-supported agriculture subscription, otherwise known as a CSA. Have either of you done a CSA box before? Is this something you're familiar with?
I did this years and years and years ago. It was called Bountiful Baskets.
Okay.
It might still be a thing, but yeah, you would order a box and every month you would just get a box with an assortment of fruits and vegetables, and you never quite knew what you were going to get.
Right.
And it was really fun because there were a lot of things I wouldn't necessarily buy, but then when you have it, you're like, oh, well, I've got to figure out a way to cook this, or, so it really kind of pushes you to step outside of your comfort zone, try new recipes, try new foods. We really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you described it perfectly, Lindsay. I think one of the things about this time in our world in the year 2025 that I think we all need to be connecting to our local communities more and more, which is what City Gas Boise is all about. And I think one of the best ways to do so, to be honest, my pitch is through local ag and through supporting farmers in our communities directly, which is what this does. So, yes, as you mentioned, it forces you to learn how to cook something like kohlrabi for the first time and figure out what the heck to do with it. It also helps build community and, again, gets that money right into the hands of farmers. I've done this before with Peaceful Belly. They've been around for forever. And their CSA is fabulous. Basically, every week you pick up the box from a designated location. They have a bunch of locations around the valley. You choose which one you're going to pick it up from every week. And then, you have veggies and fruit. I think I always did the veggie one, which is what seems like is the most common, but they do have some fruit options. And like, for example, the Peaceful Belly one, a half share is $500, which on the surface might sound like a lot, but what I've actually done is split it with a friend or another household, and trade off weeks so that if one week you're like, oh, I just too much kohlrabi. What do I do? The next week, your friend might pick it up. And then by the time your turn comes around, there'll be a new thing that they've grown that they're putting in those boxes. And to be clear, there's always a nice variety of all kinds of different veggies. And and it goes for like 18 weeks, 17 weeks. So $500 spread out over that time is actually really reasonable. The food starts actually getting to you in June and ends in late October because Boise does have that great long growing season. So I just recommend CSAs. There's a bunch. So Peaceful Bellies, one I've done, I can highly recommend. Global Gardens is another one, supports refugee farmers directly. There's another one I saw, Dry Creek Growers is the name of it. It's new to me, but it's been around for a little bit. And one of the cutest farms that's part of this collective is called Whistle Pig Farm, which is just adorable sounding. So, and all of them are about, similar price points. So that's my recommendation. In April, sign up for your CSA. Get excited about the great, fresh, local produce you're going to have in June.
Frankie, I love how you brought up the idea of sharing it, because sometimes it was a lot of produce. And so, that would be a great time to, go into it with like a neighbor or a friend. So
totally,
everybody's got produce. And I liked the surprise element of it. It's like a grab bag. You don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be delicious.
Let's be honest, like $500 for like 16, 18 weeks. You're spending that much money at the farmer's market anyway. So like just fold that into, you know what I mean? Spread that out over that much time. Like you're not going to be disappointed. I haven't done a CSA myself. My dad does one up north. He lives kind of close to U of I. So like the ag students do a CSA. I've come up for dinner a couple of times, and they've made stuff from, and they're always, first of all, it's always huge. The produce is always gigantic. Mm-hmm. It's always delicious. It didn't have to go far to get to your plate. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, and you are going to eat the healthiest you've ever eaten this summer if you do a CSA, I promise. So yeah.
Okay, Matthew, what are you eating or drinking in the Treasure Valley in April?
So here's a pitch for y'all. Go sign up for a CSA, get your healthsome, good produce and veggies, and make meals out of that a couple of times a week or whatever. And then you can go treat yourself after you've done that. And we're very good and ate healthily. Not to say you can't do that here, but also go treat yourself to Black Dog Bar opening up. It's in the former New Colony beer space. RIP to New Colony. They were great. But the pitch here is Black Dog Bar is supposed to be a classic sort of neighborhood sports bar. And as a Benchy, there is a dearth of quality, like local sports bars to be had here. I got to go downtown. I got to go. Meridian's got a few very good ones. Not to say there's not any, but we certainly could use more. Major League Baseball just started up. I'm looking for a spot to post up and watch some games, and I'm really encouraged by what I'm hearing about Black Dog. The former owners of the Piper Bar and Grill have started this one up. It looks like it's going to be happy hour specials. There's going to be food trucks, and then eventually they're going to get a kitchen going. But I just, again, write down. I believe it's Orchard as well. Us fellow Benchies, let's go have a drink at the Black Dog, sit on the patio when it's safe to do so, temperature-wise, and go get a drink, go watch some games.
That's really big for the bench. Like, there's some good things happening on the bench.
It's a cool spot to be. I'm just saying.
Okay, Matthew, but who is your team? Who are you rooting for if you go to this bar to watch your sports, watch your baseball?
As the owner and co-host of a baseball podcast, I usually count myself as more of a baseball enthusiast. But having said that, and some people will call this cheating, and I say that's fine. But for the American League, I root for the Boston Red Sox, and for the National League, I root for the Dodgers. I lived in LA for a while, made it to many Dodger games. The Boston Red Sox was my first pro game, so I maybe it's bandwagoning, but I haven't jumped off the bandwagon yet, and I don't intend to. So come at me.
Can we normalize liking things that lots of people like? Like that's fine. That's great. Like they're good teams.
Right. Who wants to feel bad? You don't have to. You could root for a good team. It's great.
Yeah. Go for the one that wins the championship. Why not? Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great time. Come on in. The Dodgers pool is just fine. Come on in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Lindsay, I need to know what's your food vibe, drink vibe in April. What are you eating and what are you drinking?
Okay, so, we went with Frankie's healthy vibe. We got the sports bar vibe. I'm going to kind of bring, I guess, the party vibe to April with Pig Latin in Eagle.
Oh.
And I've been a couple times. It's new. Just opened a couple months ago. And I'm going to say I'm impressed. Their empanadas, it's one of the appetizers, just empanadas. Phenomenal. Like one of my favorite things on the menu. So good. I've gotten the pork carnitas street tacos, delicious. You know, a really standard street taco, tastes delicious. Always love a street taco. But I think where they really shine is their drinks. They have phenomenal mixed drinks and they're kind of fun. They're kind of silly and a little campy, but I love it. It's very fun. They have a really good espresso martini. I know we've got some listeners, some people interested in that. Very good. They have a drink called the Foam Party, and the drink is delicious, but it also comes with a little like inflatable flamingo.
What?
Yeah. Like the drink is in this little like flamingo floaty. I don't think I've ever been to a place where every single drink is phenomenal, and Pig Latin does it. It's really good.
Oh, I've been curious about this place because what is it? The Six Stag, which that name is hard to say. That's that bar in Nampa. So it's the same people, I think, right? So yeah, the same guy owns Six Stag Cocktail Bar in Nampa. But I feel like this is like really a different vibe for Boise. Well, I guess technically Eagle, right? So.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Well, on the weekends, they have a DJ playing. So it really has like a club vibe. And if you're going for drinks, you're going for the club. You normally aren't like, I'm also going to get dessert. I don't know if those always go together, but I do have to recommend the Tres Leches cake. It tastes like horchata, but made into a cake. It's really, really good.
Wow.
So I like food is good. Go get some empanadas, get some drinks, get some Tres Leches cake, have the DJ be there. It's getting to be warm. So fingers crossed, I guess. I don't know why I said that. It's Idaho, maybe. But they have a beautiful patio. And anyway, and supposedly there's going to be a brunch menu soon. Matthew, I know that's kind of your jam.
You speak my language.
So I am excited for that to be a thing. So anyway, yeah, I was super impressed with the drinks, kind of the vibes. It's very just fun and kind of clubby and really different than other spots around the Treasure Valley.
This menu looks amazing. Now, I have a serious question though. The flamingo floaty, do you to keep that? You taking that home, or what's the scouting report on that?
Oh, good question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm saving that for I'm going to take that to Roaring Springs in the summer.
That sounds awesome.
Okay, and now one of my favorite categories, because I'm always a girly on a budget, and I love when I can get something for free. That's my favorite price. So, Matthew, what is something free that you are going to do or see or check out in the Treasure Valley in April?
Boy, coming into April, I'm feeling the girly on a budget, especially let's address the elephant in the room. We just got off of Tree Fort. I may be even a little hoarse from 5 days of partying. I maybe spent too much money on records. I'm all about that free life. So speaking of Tree Fort, so Wednesday evening of Tree Fort, I was at the balcony with some friends and we saw this incredible 2-hour burlesque variety show with a Dungeons and Dragons theme. It was my very first Tree Fort thing this year, and it set such a wonderful tone. It is bananas how many amazingly talented, not just burlesque performers, but it's a variety show. It's aerialists, it's silks, it's rings, it's chains, it's all kinds of crazy stuff. Cirque du Soleil nonsense happening right over the dance floor at the balcony, and it blew me away. And it made me miss the Red Light Variety Show quite a bit. You ever get to go to Red Light before they closed out, either of you?
No.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Red Light. Yeah, that was a fabulous burlesque event. Oh God, that was great. Yep.
Well, they closed, for a variety of reasons, they had to shut her down, but it's not like it seems to me that most of those performers are still in town. So
That's good to hear. I was curious about that.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I recognize some at this D&D thing. This is not related to that, but it got me wondering, like, man, where they have to be. So they're clearly still around. Where can I see something like this? So turns out Pengilly's downtown every second Sunday of the month does its Sunday Night Follies burlesque and variety show. It's doors at 8, show at 9. It is a free show. Just show up to Pengilly's. I mean, be cool. Bring a couple of bucks for a drink. Maybe bring a couple of bucks for tips. But it's live performance, free admission, happening on that Pengilly stage. I have actually been to one of these in the past. I had a traveling friend who's a drag king performer who happened to be in town. Came to see her do her thing. You never know what you're gonna get, but I guarantee you will see people that you've seen in other places doing other sorts of like burlesque and variety. Obviously, it's a bar, 21 and up, of course. But if you haven't had a chance to see burlesque or anything like that, it's a really amazing art form. And here's an opportunity, low stakes, low cost, no cost, to check it out.
Well, and like you said, we have some really fantastic burlesque performers here. I've seen a couple shows and I'm blown away. Like, I'm like, this is Boise. Like, I don't know what I expected, but they are phenomenal. Like you said, it's an incredible art, and we have some really talented performers here. So it's incredible we would get to see that for free.
Seriously, I can't tell how many times I've said, like, man, what are you doing here? Right? Like, thank you. Please stay.
Seriously, no. I'm like, you could be on huge stages, like making loads of money. I appreciate that they're here so we can see it. But yeah, no, they're phenomenal.
So that's the tip, everyone. Get them while they're hot. Get them before they figure out that they should be they should be doing this elsewhere. Go see them now while you can.
That was a perfect way to start our April free stuff guide. You're getting your money's worth with that one. What I'm going to be doing that's free in April, it's one of my favorite times of the year. The farmers markets are starting back up, and I love a farmers market. I think it's just one of the best parts of the season. So I want to highlight that the Boise Farmers Market is opening April 5th. And so that just start of the month, we're getting right at it. And that's going to be at the 1500 Shoreline Drive location. And then the Meridian Farmers Market is going to be starting on April 12th on East Broadway. So I am so excited. It's been a long fall, winter, late fall, winter. I am excited to get out there, see what people are baking, see what people have been making. It might be a little scant on the produce right now, but that'll pick up. But it's the perfect way to spend a Saturday morning. I am so excited to get back into the farmers market swing of things.
Well, and they've got way more than just produce, right? There's like artisan crafts and goods and things like that. So even if it's a little early in the season, there's no reason to not go. You might come home with something really cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you've got all the bakeries making absolutely incredible pastries and breads. And all the people who have been making stuff all winter. Yeah, so many amazing things to check out.
I'm so glad you brought up those two. And then there's obviously the Capital City Public Market. It looks like theirs opens a little later. I'm seeing April 19th. And it looks like they're actually moving. So they're not going to be at the Grove. They're going to be like at Jump in the parking lot there. But that's the thing, is there's so many different markets to check out. And it's cool that there's a couple that are starting at the beginning of the month and then more will add in.
Yeah, you can kind of stagger your approach.
Totally. Have either of you ever been to more than one in the same day? I don't think. I guess I've been to Capital City and then the Boise Farmers. That's easy because those are both downtown. But is there anyone out there who goes to multiple markets in one day? Maybe.
I'm a meanderer, so it takes me a long time to get through the farmers
Sure.
market. So
you're not speed walking.
they're closing down. I don't even get a chance. I'm like, oh no, they're starting to close. I got to speed up. I haven't made it through all of the booths.
Yeah.
There has to be somebody out there that laces up the running shoes and goes first thing. I'm imagining this extreme couponers or people who hit garage sales,
Totally.
10 garage sales in a day. You guarantee there's got to be some kind of Facebook group out there of obsessive, and I'm upset. Like, that's not a bad thing, but like, you hit all the farmers markets at once. Here's the best things. These people are here. These people are there. Hit them all. Yeah, no, that ain't me. Couldn't be me. But I have hit more than one in a day looking for something particular. So, they have to be out there.
See, but I feel like if you're the couponer person, because I used to be one of those coupon people, the going at the beginning is not the time. I mean, that's when you have the most selection. But at the end, when the booths are closing and you're like, oh, what is this? Do you still have some bread? And they're like, just take it half off, like, because they don't want to pack it up. So like, that's the tip is like, if you're the slow meanderer and everybody's starting to clean up, like they don't, they're just trying to get rid of stuff because they don't want to have to pack it all back, to their house or their bakery or whatever. So that's when the deals are happening.
That's so true. I do remember last season having we went something and it was fairly late in the day. I think we were getting fish or something, and we were somewhere else, and we weren't even shopping at that place. And they're like, "Hey, I forget it was some kind of lettuce. Like, here, have all of this. Just take it, please.
Right.
You're not shopping here, but just have it." I was like, "All right, well, I guess we're calling friends and we're making a salad for everybody today because this is too much for us. But thank you."
Yeah, they don't want to take that lettuce back. That's going to wilt.
No, they can't keep it for the next week.
Certainly not.
Well, Frankie, what is your free item or free thing to do in April for, to round out our monthly guide?
Oh my gosh. This might be the thing I've been most excited to talk about in a long time. And I waited until today to share it, which is CityCast Boise is doing our first ever live podcast taping. We are doing that on April 15th, from noon to 1. It's a Tuesday. Yes, it's tax day, whatever. But more importantly, it is the anniversary of the Boise Depot, the 100-year centennial celebration. And the city of Boise is, specifically Parks and Rec, is doing a whole week of programming around it. Lots of education opportunities, things for families. And they asked us if we would be interested in doing a live podcast taping about, train travel and about the question of, will passenger train travel ever return to Boise? What's the history of it? Why did it go away in the first place? So Lindsay, my free thing is you on the stage with Mayor McLean and Elaine Clegg, who of course is not only the leader of Valley Regional Transit, but is also on the board of Amtrak, and she just joined that board recently. So that's my free thing, and the whole week of programming from Parks and Rec at the Boise Depot is free. So check all of it out, but please make time. We're doing it in the noon hour, hoping that people, come grab some food. There's going to be at least one food truck there. So if you can sneak away for a lunch and a live podcast taping, it's a great way to do it.
I'm so excited about this. So glad that Boise wanted to partner with us on this. And I think it'll be really, really fun. So I'm hoping people will stop by, come see the podcast. We're going to talk about, the history of the depot. We're going to talk about, what's next for Boise. And I just think it will be really, really fun. I'm excited. This is my first live podcast ever. So
hey,
I know. Yeah, Matthew, I might need some tips from you since you were at Podport. But yeah, I'm just really excited to do it live, get to talk to people, get to, be with the community during the centennial celebration.
Y'all, that's so exciting. Congratulations. And what a great topic as well. I know it's been on all of our minds, certainly y'all's for sure.
Totally. Yeah. Thanks so much. Hopefully you can make it, Matthew, but it's going to be a really interesting time to have those two people on stage, I think, given what's going on in transit and the questions around it, kind of the trajectory of the city, and honestly, the Boise Depot is beautiful. So that indoor grand hall space will be a really cool place to do a live conversation. So coming out, y'all, everybody, April 15th, noon to 1.
So what I'm hearing is we're going to check out this live show and then we're going to go make paella just down the street is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. Yes. It's a fun-filled day of food and podcasts and trains and the future. And It's going to be amazing.
Chase away those tax day blues.
Well, thank you both so much. This was such a fun guide. I you reminded me and told me about so many new things that I didn't know about that I'm really excited to check out this month. So thank you both for joining me.
Same. Always a pleasure.
Happy April, everybody.
That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, make sure and share it with your friends so they don't miss out on everything that's happening around the Treasure Valley this month. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a first-time homebuyer's guide to Boise. You won't want to miss it.